Hey guys, Mary11 here, back with another Rune tutorial for Summon as well. Now in the last video, Tyler's Mad Life Gaming requested that we do the Nine-Tailed Foxes. Now, before we get into this, if you want me to do a rune guide for a monster of your choice, leave it down in the comments below, and I'll get around to it within the next few days. Anyway, let's get right into this. Shiwa, Will-o'-the-Wisp. Attacks an enemy 3 times with a shimmering light. Each strike has a 15% chance to inflict continuous damage for 3 turns. Enchant. Puts the enemy to sleep for 2 turns. You will gain an additional turn if the target is put to sleep. Phantom Light. Attacks an enemy 5 times with a ball of light. Recovers 50% of the damage dealt. Each attack has a 50% chance to leave a branding effect for 2 turns. And the skill will deal 25% increased damage to the enemies under branding effects. Leader skill. Increases the attack power of all ally monsters with the fire attribute by 40%. Now with Shiwa, I saw that you could go for a necropolis build, or just I saw you could just go for like a violent build, a violent focus, or violent focus, violent blade, with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent, and slots 2, 4, 6. You could also go a fatal blade or a fatal focus build for a low level, with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent. You could go a violent energy build if you're trying to go for a necro. Attack percent, HP percent, and slots 2, 4, 6. Or with the violent energy, you could go attack percent, HP percent, attack percent. But what I've come to realize in necro is that if you don't have 2 HP percents on slots 2, 4, or 6, your monsters die very quickly unless they're already a natural tank. But Shiwa is an attacker, so she's not going to survive unless you have 2 HP percents. You could also go a vampire blade build or a vampire revenge, because normally when I go with vampire, I like to go revenge because then they regain health when they're attacked. Anyway, for a vampire blade or a vampire revenge build, you can go attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent. Try and get the most out of a recovery, because I think is it this one? Maybe it's a different one, but most people like to go non-violent and vampire on several of the Nine-Tailed Foxes, just for the fact that I think they have an inbuilt recovery, like an inbuilt vampire to one of their skills. Shiwa can go vampire if you really feel like it, but I recommend you could use her. I recommend using her in a necro build with violent energy, with attack percent, HP percent as the most recommended build. Anyway, moving on to Soha. Will-o'-the-Wisp. Attacks the enemy 3 times with a shimmering light. Each attack has a 10% chance to freeze the enemy for 1 turn. Soul Snatcher. Throws soul beads at the enemy to deal damage and recovers the same amount of the inflicted damage as HP. Additionally, all excessive HP recovery from this skill will be converted into a shield that lasts for 2 turns. Cleanse. Inflicts damage to all enemies and removes beneficial effects on all enemies. Increase the attack power of all ally monsters with the water attribute by 40%. With Soha, once again, you can go Violent Blade or Violent Focus with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent. Low level build, I recommend a Fatal Blade with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent, slots 2, 4, 6. For this one, I do recommend a Vampire Blade or a Vampire Revenge with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent, because she has an AoE here. Also takes away all the effects, beneficial effects. So attack all of them, gain health. This one already has an inbuilt health regeneration, and the more that you take health that you take, the more you'll have into a shield. Sorry, I can't stop yawning today. And you also be regaining health, but you also have a chance to free someone first skill. So I see it as more viable for a Vampire Blade or a Vampire Revenge. Attack with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent. Anyway, moving on to Orang. Will-o'-the-Wisp. Attacks an enemy 3 times with a shimmering light. Each strike has a 15% chance to decrease the enemy's chances of landing a glancing hit for 2 turns. Soul Snatcher. Throw soul beads at the enemy to deal damage and recover the same amount of inflicted damage as HP. Additionally, all excessive HP recovery from this skill will be converted into a shield that lasts for 2 turns. Sweet Talk. Attacks the enemy and decreases their attack speed, attack power, and defense for 2 turns. Leader Skill. Increases the attack power of all ally monsters with the wind attribute by 40%. With Orang, I saw maybe a Fatal Focus build with attack percent, accuracy percent on slots 2, 4, 6. You go a Violent Focus build, attack percent, accuracy percent. Ooh. Okay, ignore that. But with Orang, I would recommend her using her more as a support, because a Violent Focus build would be more ideal with attack percent, accuracy percent on the slots 2, 4, 6. Because say you're Violent, just keep using the first skill to put glancing hits on after you've used, but first use Sweet Talk to then decrease the biggest threats to make sure it's as weak as possible. But then you also have an inbuilt heal, so you're a more sustainable support monster. And because she's got this leader skill, you can put her in a win team, and she'll be a lot more useful, because she ups their attack power, but she's a support herself. So, but if you wanted to use her for an attack, you can go Fatal Blade, attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent, slots 2, 4, 6. Anyway, moving on to Shamey. First skill. Will-o'-the-Wisp. Attacks an enemy 3 times with a shimmering light. Each strike has a 30% chance to deter the enemy's HP recovery for 2 turns. Pardon me. Soul Snatcher. Throws soul beads at the enemy to deal damage and recovers the same amount of inflicted damage as HP. Additionally, all excessive HP recovery from this skill will be converted into a shield that lasts for 2 turns. Reincarnate. Removes all harmful effects on yourself and comes back to life with 100% HP. Additionally, you gain 50% increased attack power and defense every time you use Reincarnate. Accumulates up to 5 times. Leader Skill. Increases the attack power of all ally monsters with the light attribute by 40%. Shamey I saw as one of the strongest ones, just because of this. Now, it's not a passive. I'm going to say this now. I got a bit confused, but because it's a transmogrification, I can go and see what it looks like, the skills look like. And what I believe it does, and what it says here, is that, say it's on low HP, use the skill, goes back up to full HP, increased attack power. And it looked like you can repeatedly do it up to 5 times. Once after you've used the 5 times, it goes back to the 1 time. So accumulate it up to maybe. So whenever this is available, use it. I would say use it as much as possible, so that you can up your attack power and defense? Yeah, every time you use it. So you become a really annoying, tanky attacker. The way I saw you could rune her is a Violent Blade with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent on slots 2, 4, 6. You could also go a Vampire Revenge or a Vampire Blade with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent on slots 2, 4, 6. You could also go a Fatal Blade build, attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent. But I recommend the Violent Blade, because then you're getting as many turns as possible to reuse reincarnate as much as possible. Anyway, moving on to Kamiya. First skill, Will-O-the-Wisp. Attacks an enemy 3 times with a shimmering light and recovers HP by 50% of the inflicted damage. Enchant. Puts the enemy to sleep for 2 turns. You will gain an additional turn if the target is put to sleep. Nightmare. Performs an attack that has a guaranteed chance to stun the target for 1 turn. If the attack lands as a critical hit, the attack is also guaranteed a critical. If the attack lands as a critical hit, the attack is also guaranteed a critical hit if the target is asleep. So if it's asleep, it gets a critical hit. And stun if the target isn't already asleep. If it's a critical hit. Now, best thing to do with this one is use second skill. If it's put to sleep, you get to go again. Use Nightmare, huge damage. Oh, and the leader skill, increase the attack power of all ally monsters with dark attribute by 40%. Because Nightmare gets a guaranteed critical hit if it lands if the monster is asleep. So you can, I recommend a Rage Blade or a Rage Revenge if you feel like it. Because she heals with her first skill. So maybe a Rage Blade, maybe a Rage Revenge, however you want to go. With attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent. Because some people would say, oh, I don't need Blade, it's got a guaranteed critical hit if it's asleep. Second skill puts it to sleep. Oh, I've got a higher chance of landing a critical hit, or a guaranteed chance. So why should I need Blade when I could go for Revenge and have a bit more self-sustain? You could also go for a Fatal Blade build with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent, slots 2, 4, 6. Can go Violent Blade or a Violent Revenge with attack percent, crit damage percent, attack percent. But if I would have to rate them, I would put Shamey at first. Probably then Soha, Kamiya, Shiwa, and Orang. That is my personal rating, but if you feel that one is more useful than the other, put it down in the comments below. I'd like to hear your views about it. Anyway, guys, this has been the Rune Guide for the Nine-Tailed Fox. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, if you want to do a monster of your choice in the next video, comment it down below in this video, and the first comment will be the next Rune Guide. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.